We're in our domain controller on a 2016 server, and we're going to do a group policy result. So we're going to pull up this wizard. So let's first go to Tools, and we'll go ahead and choose Group Policy Management. And from here, we're going to see the group policy results. So let's right-click on that and choose the wizard. This will walk us through connecting to our remote computer where we're going to run a report. So we're going to choose another computer, and we will browse to that computer. We'll type in the name of it, and we'll click Next. And we go ahead and select a specific user. I'm just going to go ahead and choose the administrator, and we'll see what group policies are being applied to that computer and that user. And we'll click Finish. Now we see a report shows up on the left-hand side, and it's generating the information over on the right-hand side. So it's going through all the different group policy settings, what's going to be applied, what's not going to be applied, and it's going to give that information to us here. So we're going to see summary, details, as well as policy events. And there's our summary. So basically it's just telling us the computer policy refresh, date, and time. Let's go ahead and click on details. That's where the majority of the information is going to be. Now the easiest way to read this is to click the Show All button in the top right-hand side. So it expands everything for us. Otherwise it'll take forever to individually expand all these things. And what it does is it goes through each of the policies and tells us what's being applied. So it ignores anything that has not been configured. So we start with the password policy. We see that there is a password policy, and we see the minimum and maximum password age. But more importantly, we see the winning group policy object. So in this case, it's the default domain policy. So if it was a different policy, it would tell us that as well. Let's go ahead and scroll down. And we see a network access policy, network security policy. So the important thing is the policy name, which is going to line up to where the policies are on this left-hand side when we expand it. It's going to show us the setting, whether it's enabled or disabled, and it's going to show us the group policy object that is being applied. In this case, it's a default setting, so it's not a policy itself, but most of these are going to be because of policies. So let's go ahead and continue to scroll down. We also see a denied group policy object. This is a policy that we could not get to work for whatever reason. It was denied, maybe by security filtering, or maybe there was an error of some sort. Let's go to where it says policy events. And we can see that there are no policy events. So in this particular case, either there's an error connecting to that server, or there just is no event to show, which is certainly a possibility. Let's go back to our details page. If we right-click on our results on the left-hand side, we can choose to rerun the query if we want to see how things look after we made some changes. We can also do a save report. So let's go ahead and do a save report, and that way we can come back to it later in case we decide to make additional changes. So if we take a look, it's going to save this as an HTML file. And let's go ahead and click on the desktop, and you can see the name is the administrator on client 01. Let's go ahead and click to save that. And if we want, we can come back, and there is our file. We can go ahead and double click on it, and we can review the settings that we just saw in group policy. Make sure we allow the blocked content to show up, and it looks very much the same way. Now, if you have trouble connecting to your remote computer, it could be that certain services are not running. So you want to make sure that you have these services, and you can pause the video right now if you want. You want to make sure you have these services in the firewall enabled. And you can get to those settings on the client. I'm doing this on the server just because that's what I'm on and showing you. But you want to go to the client itself, and you want to enable these particular ports. So you want to go to advanced settings. You could also disable the firewall altogether, but that's not going to be a good idea for security. So you can go to settings, and then you can scroll all the way down, and you can find these alphabetically. So we can just go ahead and type the letter R, takes us right down there. So we look for remote scheduled tasks, for instance. So we go down and we look for remote, and we're going to see scheduled tasks. There they are right there. And we're going to want to choose the RPC, so you want to right-click and enable it. So if it's already enabled, then you'll see that it's going to be green. But we can right click, choose enable rule. There's a little green rule there. So you want to go through each one of these different things and enable all 7 of them. Once they've been right clicked and enabled, then you should be able to connect to that computer remotely.